Let me start with this thing here now by saying I'm a gooner for life and I loved them long before I met my wife. But listen, this thing, I don't know what to say, but it's not the same old thing. We're not the gunners that we used to be. Everyone needs to get it through their head. Them time they're past. The Premier League ain't the Premier League that it was when you lot were all growing up. Like, when I was growing up, I'm a 70s gooner. Yeah, that's when I was born, 70s. So when I was growing up in the 80s, we was a mid-table team. And everyone was there or thereabouts at the same level. It was only Liverpool that was going on with things. But what you lot need to understand is that we are now, again, a mid-table side. And it's not because really we slacked out and slacked off. We have. I'm not going to lie, we have. Real talk, we have. But the real truth and reality is everyone has stepped up. That is why the Premier League is the best league in the world. Yeah? Because when you're watching games, you don't know who's going to win. You don't know what's going to happen. When you check most teams, starting 11, best 11, most teams can beat most teams, barring obviously the teams that have just come up and a few of the lower teams. But even then, on their day, if you're not on job, they'll take your throat. That's it. You're not on job. That's it. Off with your head. They don't ramp. And this is what the Premier League's about. And everyone needs to understand that. You need to look at it realistically and stop getting on Arteta's back. Because when you check it, our players aren't much better than most teams' players. We don't have it. And then everyone's going, yeah, but we got this player and we got that. Listen, let me tell you something. Our players, our first 11 is not much better than any other 11 that is out there. And you lot need to know that and know that now. Yeah? In this league, our 11 is not much better than any 11. And there's a lot of 11s that are probably better than us, at least 4 or 5. I ain't even going to start mentioning names because certain things are going to come up and I'm not even going to want to say that when I check it. But that is the truth and reality of it. We are a mid-table team now. This is what Arteta has come in to change. Yeah? And that is why he's working from the back and working forward. We need more creative players. But we haven't got them. And you can't be relying on all these young bucks all the time. It's not even fair. Or putting the pressure on them. It's not even a case of can't rely on them. Yes, let them play. Yes, try and rely on them. But don't put pressure on them and you're all getting, we lost again. That's how it is now. That's how it is. And it's going to be like that for most of this season. And probably the next season as well. For half of it at least. Until Arteta can get his players in that can work the way he wants to work. He's trying to work his system with another man's players. What is that? Why is everyone getting so hyped that he can't get it to work? It don't make sense. At least when Emery was there, he had a couple windows, he brought in a lot of his players, and in the second season, he weren't moving good. So therefore, that's why he got the chop. Arteta is playing with all of my man's players. He's only got 2 of his own players, maybe 3, when you check it. Not saying that the players that we haven't got aren't certain levels, but only certain players. Other than that, like we say, it's the youth we're relying on. So, please, Gunners, I beg you, just stop. All this ranting at Mikel Arteta. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. The league has got better. When you check it, in time, a little while ago, it was just Arsenal United. Then it was Arsenal United and Chelsea. Then it was Arsenal United, Chelsea and City. Then all of a sudden it was talking about the top 4. Then it's the top 6. Then now, don't you see, look at last season, how tight it was at the top. It was like a top 8. I know we finished 8th, but when you check it, all those teams or thereabouts weren't far from each other. So now there's 8 very good teams in the league. Plus, you got to bear in mind the teams that are below them are stepping up as well. When you check teams like West Ham and certain other teams that are lower down, they got a starting 11 that can't worry you. Villa, look how they've been going on this season. The scalps they've been taking. Like, come on, be realistic, Gooners. Not saying that our 11s on paper may not be worth more than whatever, wherever, whenever, but that don't make it. You got to understand, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. You understand? And certain time our players are not working hard enough. And that is not Arteta's fault. Once he puts them on the pitch, he can't make them work harder than they are. When you check the game last night, in the first half, we did nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We were it was abysmal. I've got to get my words out. Like, it was abysmal the first half. But the second half, we stepped it up. If we'd have started the game like that, we might have had a hope. That's not Arteta's fault that the players didn't come out and be on it from day. He didn't tell them to come out and just sit and do, no. He never. And they tried in the first half, but they just weren't finding it. They weren't working hard enough. Second half, they came out and tried a thing, and it still never worked. But the bottom line is that it's not Arteta's fault. He needs his squad. So therefore, we have to wait for him to get his players to do his thing. But he's a good manager. You can see that. You can see that. And yeah, all right, we still got the same players from last season that won the cup and but you got to bear in mind the circumstances that was around that and everything that was going on, and even the circumstances around now where, don't get me wrong, we're not playing the same players in midweek as we're playing at the weekend. But it's crazy. It's crazy times. And other teams are stepping up. Gunners, get realistic. Get realistic. Right now, we're a mid-table team. And we probably will be for this season and next season. If we finish anywhere above 6, I'll be shocked for the next 2 seasons. But we just have to be patient. And at the end of the day, if you're a real true Gooner, it's not about cussing and moaning about players. It's about saying, you know what, the club's going through a phase, and it's been a long phase. It has. But while we've been going through that long phase, everyone else has been stepping up. We held on to Wenger too long. Blame the board. It's the board's fault. All this is the board's fault for taking too long to move out certain things and certain managers and certain players. And now, this is what's happening. This is the backlash. This is the actual backlash from it. We are the Gunners, but you know, realistically, that it's going to take a while before we start busting big shots again. Aye, love and blessings.